Chuck Schumer and his Democrat colleagues have refused to give us the votes. So they put all kinds of people at risk. This week, air traffic controllers didn't get a check on Tuesday. Other federal employees didn't get theirs on Thursday and Friday. And as you've just reported, 42 million low-income Americans have their food assistance at risk as of today.
House Majority Whip Tom Emmer telling me earlier Democrats are to blame for putting Americans in danger with this government shutdown, particularly when it comes to those vital SNAP benefits that are paused this weekend. Here to respond, Democratic California Congresswoman Laura Friedman. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming into the studio. It's all your fault, according to the House Majority Whip.
Pretty ironic when the Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, that they would blame Democrats for their inability to govern in this moment. But I will tell you, I have been in Washington, D.C. week after week. I was there last week. I was there the week before. I was there the week before that. Every single week there, posting on social media saying, Republicans, my colleagues, please come to Washington, D.C., come off of your vacations, come back to D.C. so that we can negotiate and try to form a compromise. And they've refused to come back from their vacations.
I think there's a feeling among a lot of Americans, Congresswoman, that everybody stop being so childish. It's your fault. It's your fault. He started it. She started it. Just get this done. I asked the Majority Whip if there is a compromise that you can come to. What would you say to Republicans now that you need as a compromise? Because these positions aren't working. So where's the compromise?
Right. So I've been very clear about this. If the Republicans want me to rubber stamp their budget and their agenda, they need to address my biggest concern about what they're doing, which is the fact that at least 50,000 of my constituents stand to lose access to health care.
So let me interrupt you there, and I apologize for doing that. But so you want that taken care of, but would you accept some sort of cast iron guarantee from Republicans? Do you trust them enough that that will be talked about, negotiated after you Democrats come to agree on reopening the government? Would you accept that if they somehow put it in writing in some form? I don't know how, but would you accept it? Do you trust them?
Well, look, I'm not going to negotiate with myself right now on TV. I will tell you that we have seen their budget now since at least March, probably even before that. We have been saying all along that kicking 13 million Americans off of their Medicaid, that allowing the tax credits to expire for the ACA, meaning that people's health insurance premiums are going to skyrocket, is unacceptable to us. They're asking me to rubber stamp their agenda. I'm not going to do that until I am absolutely convinced that my constituents can get their medications, can go to see a doctor. And right now, I don't have that. I don't have that promise from them. They've refused to come back to Washington, D.C. So that's what it's going to take to get my signature on their document.
The situation now is that they are not getting those things. They are seeing their health benefits. They are getting told that they are going to increase significantly, but they're also not getting SNAP benefits. So how does it benefit Americans to have none of these things solved? Well, surely you guys, and I don't mean Democrats, I mean you guys, as in our elected representatives, need to find a way to move this forward without going back to these positions. No, we won't do this until they do that. There has to be a middle ground, Congresswoman.
I agree. And look, a lot of the benefits for SNAP, for instance, are highest in red states, in red southern states. But it doesn't matter to me that these people voted for Donald Trump. It doesn't matter to me if they're MAGA. I don't care. I don't want to see any American go hungry. When I'm here in the district every weekend, I have people coming up to me nonstop at the grocery store, on the street, saying, please stand strong. Don't give in. I can't lose access to health care. This is too important for me, too important for my family. So that is a bright line for me, something that my constituents have been extremely clear about. We have been talking about the SNAP benefits now, about this being a risk for weeks now. It is my position, it's been the position of AGs, it's been the position of the Democratic Party, that the emergency reserves in the SNAP program were meant exactly for a government shutdown and other funding interruptions. Why do we think that? Because it's literally written into the bill. Why did it take a court order for the Trump administration to do the right thing and prevent Americans from going hungry? Why did the Trump administration say, we're not going to release SNAP funds, sue us? Why did it take a judge saying, this is clearly written into the bill that these emergency funds are to be used in case of a government shutdown, feed Americans? Why did it take that? But instead of scrambling to find a way to fill people's EBT cards and make sure they don't go hungry, we've got a president who spent half the night tweeting photos of his new gilded bathroom so that he can be comfortable when he goes and has a poo.
Moving on from that as quickly as we can, Burbank Airport is in the heart of your district.
That's
here.
right.
It had a ground stop a few weeks ago as a result of apparently air traffic controllers calling out not enough there. We saw a collision between two United aircraft at LaGuardia last night. We don't know how much or if at all that was related to the shutdown. But Americans are scared with the travel season almost upon us for Thanksgiving, etc. Americans are scared. What do you tell your constituents about the safety of flying and traveling right now?
I want the government to reopen. I want it to reopen tomorrow. I wanted it to reopen last week. That's why I was in Washington, D.C., begging my Republican colleagues to come back to town. Democrats have been there week in and week out. If you look at any of our social media, you will see us in Washington asking our colleagues to come to the table. And you're absolutely right. To have compromise, you've got to have two sides that are willing to talk. And so far, we've got a Republican Party that's saying we control the majority, we don't have to talk to Democrats, we don't have to take their input, and I think that's terrible for the nation.
Congresswoman Laura Friedman, a pleasure to have you here on set with us. Thank you so much. And I love your eyewear, by the way. I need to get your manufacturer from you. All right, coming up, former NFL player Frank Murphy is calling on men